One of the most recognizable features of Kratos in God of War, aside from his red tattoo, is his ash white skin complexion. It's not only referenced in his nickname, the Ghost of Sparta, but it's also far from his natural skin complexion. This is Kratos' natural complexion from the flashbacks of God of War 1, and I'll explain briefly on how he gained this white complexion, but also how this white complexion might be fading over time. Welcome to PlayStation Source, this is your boy TKD123, let's get right into it. So how exactly did Kratos get his ash white skin? This is more thoroughly explained in my God of War iceberg with timestamps in the description to the over 80 facts about God of War in that iceberg video. I highly suggest you guys check it out. If you like this video, you might as well get those 80 facts into your nightly or daily viewing. But after Kratos cut the deal with Ares in God of War 1 to be his servant on Earth in exchange for his life, he's given the infamous Blades of Chaos and goes throughout the world killing in the name of Ares. However, Ares wanted Kratos fully in control, and he felt that as long as he had his wife Lysandra and his daughter Calliope, he would be held back by the love and attachment he had towards them. So in order to eliminate them, Ares ensured that Lysandra and Calliope were in the Temple of Athena, which just so happened to be the very same temple that Kratos was attacking at the time. More on how he arranged this later in the video. But in the flurry of attacks that Kratos was laying down within the temple, two of the casualties ended up being his own wife and daughter Lysandra and Calliope. Through this action, the Oracle stitched the ashes of Lysandra and Calliope onto Kratos' skin as a constant mark of what he had done that day. From that day on, he was titled by the Oracle as the Ghost of Sparta.
From this night forward, the mark of your terrible deed will be visible to all. The ashes of your wife and child will remain fastened to your skin, never to be removed.
And with that curse, all would know him for the beast he had become. His skin white with the ash of his dead family. The Ghost of Sparta had been born.
I'll admit, it's a pretty dark story, and I would be willing to bet a lot of you probably don't even realize that Kratos has ashes on his skin, and I don't even necessarily blame them, because Kratos has gradually looked less and less pale as the games went on. Look at these model comparisons from where we have Kratos in God of War 2 and 3 versus how he looks now. You can definitely see more of his natural skin tones peeking out in his model in God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok in comparison to his younger self. Now, I'm not saying that, he looks drastically different from his original younger self. Of course, there is still a very unnatural looking paleness to Kratos, right? We can all definitely agree on that, but there is definitely some sort of degrading, some sort of fading nature to his ashes that were supposed to be permanent as of what the Oracle's words were meant to proclaim. But we have Cory Barlog here, who has been around the Sony Santa Monica for many years. He directed God of War 2018, and he is now directing a brand new game at Sony Santa Monica, allegedly, if rumors are to be true. But he was asked this very same question on the Game Informer 102 Rapid Questions back in 2018, and that question just stands and remains: is Kratos' ashes fading from his skin? Let's hear what he had to say.
Is the ash that covers Kratos fading over time?
A little bit.
Now, this clip was in my God of War iceberg, and in it I said that this could very well be a throwaway funny line that Cory was just making a joke to try and be funny, right? I definitely want to keep that at the forefront, that this could be just a throwaway funny line that Cory Barlog just wanted to say in the video, because there's a lot of jokes in that video, right? But what if I told you that God of War Ragnarok may have given us an explanation that actually proves that Kratos' ashes could be fading from his skin? I got this bold conversation while I was doing side quests between Mimir and Kratos, and I think this conversation could hold the key to explaining why Kratos' ashes are seemingly fading, as Cory Barlog may have truthfully suggested. Now, I thought I recorded this clip, I could not find it, so this is someone else's clip. I will leave the link to this in the description, but here is the clip that I also heard in my game.
Brother, I've been meaning to ask. Your homeland. I'd heard the gods there wielded every flavor of power you could imagine. Lightning, fire, the whole lot.
As did I, for many years.
Whoa! Any chance you could recall some of that magic?
No, I have tried.
Magic is bound to the earth. When your homeland died, your powers probably went with it.
Well, probably for the best. Let the past stay in the past and all that.
If you're someone that hasn't played the younger Kratos God of War games from the Greek pantheon, Kratos is not lying about his past abilities that he refers to in this conversation, with many examples that can be seen throughout the entire series. Mimir, referencing lightning and fire for example, can be tied perfectly to God of War Ascension, with the Wrath of Zeus ability that lets Kratos unleash an electrical wave upon enemies, and the Rage of Ares, also from God of War Ascension, that enabled Kratos to plunge his blades into the ground, unleashing intense flames onto his enemies. I just picked those two, but there's plenty of other examples throughout the God of War series where Kratos can wield elemental abilities just like the other Greek gods, like Poseidon wielding the power of water, and the father to Kratos himself, Zeus, the god of lightning. However, what is extremely intriguing about this conversation is not what Kratos says, not what Mimir says, but what Freya says. Freya explains that magic is bound to the earth, and when your homeland dies, the powers go along with it. This is an extremely crucial aspect to God of War that we did not know beforehand, and this could be very crucial for a lot of different videos that I have coming out in the future that could answer some questions as to maybe why certain people appear in God of War 2018 that they technically should not have through the use of magic, since the Greek world is no more. But with that being said, the magic of the Greek world is no more due to the collapse of the Greek pantheon at the hands of Kratos himself. So how does this all tie back to his ash white appearance allegedly fading away? This requires us to go all the way back to the very moment that the ashes of Lysandra and Calliope were sewn onto the skin of Kratos. I believe that the Oracle seemingly used some sort of magic to do this, to sew the ashes of Kratos' wife and daughter onto his very skin. I have a few suggestions, and one that is very surface level in terms of how the ashes seem to just float from the temple onto Kratos' skin in a very magical seeming way. That's a loose thing there, just want to point that out as well. But one thing we should definitely take note of first is what the Oracle says to Kratos as she is doing this. Quote, "From this night forward, the mark of your terrible deed will be visible to all. The ashes of your wife and child will remain fastened to your skin, never to be removed." I could entirely be reading into this too deep, right? But I feel like the Oracle had some sort of magic ability that allowed the ashes to remain on the skin of Kratos, never to be removed. She also warned Kratos not to go into the temple in the first place, perhaps knowing of the end point Kratos would arrive at if he continued down this path. How did she even know that in the first place? That brings us to a really great theory video by Captain Kuba. He's a God of War creator here on YouTube. I'll leave it in the description because it is a very good watch. Highly recommend it. Go check out the channel Captain Kuba. Definitely a cool dude there. But to summarize it very shortly here, he makes the point that the Oracle could actually be Tisiphone from God of War Ascension, working under Ares, making it so that Lysandra and Calliope fell directly into the warpath of Kratos that would inevitably kill them at the end of the day. If the Oracle is Tisiphone in disguise, one of the Furies in God of War Ascension that was known to changing her physical appearance to mimic other people, it makes even more sense that she would be the real identity behind the Oracle, since in Greek mythology, Tisiphone was the one who punished crimes of parricide, fratricide, homicide, and murder. So since Kratos just murdered his family, she would be the one to use her abilities to punish Kratos, thus using her abilities, perhaps magic abilities, to stitch the ashes upon to Kratos. So if magic was involved in the ashes being sewn onto Kratos, then with the Greek world falling and with the Greek magic falling with it, perhaps this is why the ashes are fading. They are no longer bound by the Greek magic since Olympus is no more. Now, Cory Barlog could have just been lying and poking fun, and I just want to be very clear, that could definitely be the case here. If Cory Barlog finds this video one day and is laughing at me because I looked way too deep into this, that's fine. I'll take it, bro. That's fine. It's cool, right? But I just feel like Cory Barlog is the type of person that just wouldn't lie about this specific thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too deep into it. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool if that's the case. I just feel like Cory Barlog just would not lie about this. I feel like if it truly was that no, Kratos' ashes are not fading, his skin is just as it was back in the original games, then he would have just said no. Right, but I just feel like him just saying a little bit, yeah, you know, he says a little bit, right? But I just feel like there's more to that, and that could very well be that the Symphony was disguised as the Oracle and used her magic abilities to sow the ashes onto Kratos. Thus, that is why they were permanent in the original games, and that is why they are fading in the Norse timeline of God of War era, because of the magic being gone, because Olympus is gone. What do you guys think down below, guys? What are your thoughts on this theory? This is just a theory. I'm not trying to say I'm right about it, but definitely let me know. Did I miss something here? Do you see a different angle that I'm not seeing? Let me know all those thoughts down below in that comment section. And I know I've been a little bit inconsistent with the uploads, but it is a brand new year. I am changing up the channel in some ways that I will talk about later on in a future video, potentially this week, but we'll see how my week goes and everything. But I hope that this is a little taste of what I hope to be doing more so in the future of this channel, covering more lore, covering more things, and covering more facts about the games themselves within the PlayStation first party. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Down below, find links to our Discord, our Twitter, and our Anchor link that you can listen to our long form content in podcast format. We of course have the Road to podcast, but you could be getting 2 more podcast series in the new year. You definitely want to keep it locked on those podcast feeds because you might get some more content here sooner than you might think. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you all for watching, and as always, greatness awaits.